You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
It's Monday night, and I am Georgia, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio. How's it going, everybody? I'm in the studio with intern Sam and with my producer, Chris. Hi, Chris. He doesn't have a microphone in front of him. He can't say hi, really. He can say hi in sign language, but it doesn't really mean as much. It is October 22nd. It's October 22nd. October 22nd. I know. The month has flown. Fall is flying by. And election is right around the corner, which I can't believe either. And it only feels like that because of the date as far as TV ads and radio commercials and phone calls constantly and mailers and all that stuff. It feels like it's going to be forever until the election. We have a really fun show tonight, as we always do. Tonight we have, it is that time of the month. I mean, not that time of the month, but it's that time of the month to talk to John from MM2 Colorado. He is going to talk about what you need to do to winterize your grow. So that'll be interesting.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome.
Yeah. You sound very good. And then my dear friend, my brother from another mother, Bill Shangalis, also known as Wayward Bill, is going to be on tonight, and he's going to talk about the U.S. Marijuana Party, and he's going to talk about, he went to the hearings in Washington, D.C., sponsored by Americans for Safe Access, in talking about descheduling cannabis. He also wants to do a little rant and rave, so we'll let him do that. And then I get to have my friend Jenny Kush on today. Yay! I'm really excited to have Jenny on. She's going to talk a little bit about sex, and she's going to talk a little bit about pot, and she's going to talk a little bit about Sex Pot Radio. And that will take us to just about an hour. So, you know, I've got some stuff to talk about. As always, I mean, that's kind of what we do on the show. But you know, one of the things that I think is interesting is, you know, there's these new websites that pop up all the time, or maybe they're not new, but they're just new to me. And there's a website called Marijuana Majority. Are you guys familiar with this? Anybody?
No, I'm not.
No. Well, I'm gonna make you familiar. It's a new website called the Marijuana Majority, and it's marijuanamajority.com. And I mean, I think it's just yet another avenue for people to recognize how sort of mainstream marijuana has become. And they like to talk about what celebrities are pro-legalization, pro-marijuana, and don't understand about prohibition and those kinds of things. And they gave some statistics that I just want to give. It's not the first time you've heard these statistics, but I just thought it would be a nice thing for us to talk about again. So 81% of those polled believe that they support medical marijuana legalization. 81%. That's freaking fabulous. 81%. 72% of those polled support no jail time for marijuana. Not medical marijuana, but marijuana in general. No jail time. It's fantastic. And then 50% of those polled believe in full-on legalizing marijuana. And I think that if you educated people a little bit better about, you know, the facts and dispelled some of the myths, that 50% would increase even more, because I mean, I still think that, I mean, even in the 64 campaign, the people who are opposed to Amendment 64, who aren't involved in the marijuana activist community at all, are opposed to it because of what their perceived ill effects on the children. What's going to happen to the children? We want to protect the children. We want to make sure children are safe, and if we don't demonize marijuana, then our children can't possibly be safe. And so if we would help people kind of understand not only how safe this plant is, how important it is to regulate this plant so that, I mean, there are some ill effects that could potentially happen that research has shown that for developing brains, a substance like marijuana could be potentially problematic. And so, if you have some regulations similar to that of other regulated substances like alcohol, then actually the message that you're sending isn't a blanket, this okay for kids, but it's an understanding that actually it's a problem for children, and it's okay for adults who have the wherewithal to modulate and pay attention to their use and recognize any problems that could occur and those kinds of things that wouldn't happen to a youthful brain. Anyhow, so I would like to see, if there's an all-out education campaign on what would happen to that 50% who support legalizing marijuana, because I think, first of all, I think it is higher, but people feel a little bit nervous about saying, okay, I'm going to just say that it's okay for folks, but add a little education to that, and I think we're talking big numbers. What do you think?
Yeah, big numbers.
Big numbers. So anyhow, check out marijuanamajority.com. Tell me what you think about it. I just stumbled across it, and it has cool graphics. Got to like a website that has cool graphics, right?
They did a good job on it.
It is time to give a ringy-dingy to our friend John. And John is the grower at MMD of Colorado, and he has been joining us for the last couple of months and giving us some great information. Normally, we catch him at Whole Foods. Isn't that where he's been?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's going to be there again, watch.
Yeah. If he is as type A regimented.
Or on the way there.
Yes. Let's see if he's doing his monthly grocery shopping at the time we want to talk to him. See if he remembers to answer my phone call. Do-do-do. Do-do-do.
Hi, this is Martin. I'm glad you called.
I don't think we have the right number for some reason.
Leave me a message.
We don't know who Martin is, but I'm going to give you this number off of my phone. And
you gave me 956.
There we go. We're going to try him again. You got that number?
Give me a second, real quick.
All right, so we're going to try him again because we don't know who Martin is. So...
Oops, I'm sorry.
Oh, we don't want to call Martin again. So we are going to talk to John a little bit about how to winterize your grow. What are the things that need to happen? Oops, sorry, I can turn on this again. What are the things that need to happen to make sure that you have the most seamless transition from season to season? Because even indoor grows, the outside temperatures affect, your humidity and your, what you have to do to cool and heat and all those kinds of things. So, all right, let's try him again. Let's see if we can get, I don't want to talk to Martin. I don't know who Martin was. I don't want to talk to Martin. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, you're live on the air, my friend John.
Hi, Georgia. How are you?
Good. We just called a wrong number and almost left a message for some guy named Martin.
Then I almost gave everybody your number.
and then we almost said your number live on the air.
That would be awesome. I bet Martin would be good at this job. Let's try to call him back.
Right? So we got to ask, are you at Whole Foods?
No, I'm doing homework. I'm helping to do homework.
Oh, very good. Very good. Because you are a parent.
Yeah, but we can take a break for a minute because I think it's needed.
For you or for your kid?
More for me, but probably for him too.
Yeah, I bet. So I was just telling everybody that that we tonight talked about wanting to get some tips on how to winterize your grow. What are the things that people need to do as the temperatures start to cool? We have some funky nighttime temperatures are radically different than daytime temperatures. What are some things that you would suggest to help people get through this temperature change?
I haven't got a clue.
Okay, great. Well, it's been good to talk to you.
Well, you're right. So right now, this is actually a great time for indoor grows because, mild to slightly warm daytime temperatures and mild to cool nighttime temperatures are almost ideal. It's what's coming that we have to prepare for. I know later this week it's supposed to get kind of chilly here in Denver, and so there's some things to really think about before the weather actually gets cold and stays cold. It doesn't take long to put your plants into shock if they experience extreme temperatures, whether it's hot or cold. One thing that's important to do, a lot of people grow in their basement, and you want to keep the plants off that cold concrete floor. So just getting going to Home Depot and getting a piece of 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch insulation and cutting it to the shape of your pot so that the pot sits right on top of that insulation, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Having proper airflow. Airflow is not just for the plant's the canopy of the plant. It also helps, believe it or not, to have airflow moving through the pots and the lower stem of the plant. A lot of times in the warmer months, in spring and summer and even the fall, people who vent their lights with air will draw air from the outside and bring it through their lights and then send it back another way to the outside, so that they're never drawing air from inside the interior of their grow, which is a good idea for other things. But what happens when it gets cold outside and you bring that cold air through the ducting and through your lights is that the temperature difference between the air coming in from outside and the air that's already inside your grow causes condensation, and your ducting and even your lights will fill up with water, and you'll come in and see it's usually only the first light in the row that has water on it, but you don't want that water to hit that hot bulb. Those bulbs can be several hundred degrees, 600 or 700 degrees, very hot. And if even a drop of cold water hits that bulb, it's going to explode. So in the winter, or when it's very cold outside, it's a good idea, if you can, to draw more mild air from somewhere else. It's not a good idea to draw the air from your grow room itself, but if you can draw the air from an unused bedroom or the attic of your house, even though that's still going to be cold, it's not going to be as cold as it is outside, and that should cut down on the condensation.
And how much of a problem is that? I mean, let's say that someone doesn't have a choice. What can they do?
One good thing about cold weather is that you may not need to vent your lights. It depends on how many you have and whether or not there might be 400 or 600 watt, in which case you probably don't have to vent them. But once you start using 1,000-watt lights, and you may have 2 or 3 of them, you're still, even when it's very cold outside, you're still generating a lot of heat inside that grow room, and that grow room is inside your home, which is insulated. So temperatures could still spike pretty quickly, and you may need to vent the lights to run air through them to cool them off. In that case, condensation can happen, pretty easily. It doesn't have to be that cold out for that to occur.
So what are some of the challenges that or the issues that happen when temperatures change in your grow room? What are some of the things that can happen to your plants?
Well, the growth slows. There's an optimal range for the kind of plants that we grow, and it's comfortable. If it's comfortable to a person, it's probably comfortable to the plant. The lower 70s to lower 80s is ideal. Now, if you're going to enrich with CO2, you can really boost those temperatures a lot higher. The winter really affords us more flexible growing. A lot of times people can't enrich with CO2 because they use a burner to generate the CO2. Well, that creates heat and also humidity. In the winter, that heat may be a bonus instead of a negative. So you have opportunities in winter that you don't have in summer growing. You can enrich with CO2 and add heat to the room and still maybe not need to do too much venting. The challenges are fewer. You don't have as much of an issue with pests, although what you have to be cautious of, and in one sense it's a little worse. During the warmer months, your pests can live outside, So they're not actively seeking to get away from the cold. Once the weather starts to change, they start to look for a place to go. And it just so happens that cozy little 2-light grow in someone's basement is just ideal for pests in the winter. And so you'll get all kinds of mealybugs and spider mites, and they're actively looking for a way to escape the certain death of winter. And your grow room is that oasis.
Any nutrient differences that you would suggest for cooler temperatures or different kinds of?
Well, if you're doing your primary job as a grower is to maintain environmental control regardless of what it's like outside. The best grow rooms I've ever seen maintain their temperature and their humidity, whether it's August or January.
Sure.
And so now, if you're not doing that, if it's generally cooler in your grow room, you're going to find that your plants drink more slowly. And when plants drink more slowly, they need less in the way of nutrients because they're not growing as quickly. And if you continue to use the same concentration of nutrient in your solution, it will start to build up in the grow media, whether you use cocoa or soil or rock wool. Those salts will start to build up in the grow media, and you may need to flush.
Okay.
So if your grow room is running cooler, then you might want to back off, 15 or 20% on your nutrients. But your plants will tell you what they want. The one of the key points to improving your skills as a grower is learning how to read your plants. You should be able to tell if your plants want more or less of something.
Great. So one more quick question before we have to go. So do you play classical music in the winter for your plants or no?
Georgia, you love the music I play for my plants. You've told me several times.
I'm not sure I've ever said that I love the music that you play for your plants. Ever.
Yeah, no.
Not even.
The steady diet of Queens of the Stone Age and Eagles of Death Metal is exactly what they want at all times.
I don't know. I think they want more of me, whatever they want. So, John, in November, we've got to think of something fascinating to tickle people's interest for your spot in November. So think about it. I know you've got several ideas. And we will do this same time, same place. Probably you'll be helping with homework or grocery shopping, one or the other, right?
That's usually what I do about this time.
Yeah, that about covers it. Well, thank you so much, John. We really appreciate you. Did a great job as always, and we'll look forward to talking to you next month.
Thank you, Georgia.
All right. Have a good evening. We've been listening to John, the master grower from MMD of Colorado. And if you guys ever have any questions, please don't hesitate to either get on the chat room and ask them while John's on the air, even if it's off topic from his chosen topic, or you can always contact us in advance and give us some questions, and we'll be happy to let John think about them and give some great answers. The other thing you can always do is go down and visit our friends at Noto Urban Garden Supply, which is a wonderful hydroponic store located in downtown Denver at 1330 27th Street between Larimer and Walnut on 27th Street. It's about 4.5 blocks northeast of Coors Field, which isn't such a big deal this time of year, but you know where it is. Go visit our friend Levi. Levi manages the store, and he will answer all of your grow needs, whether you grow in your basement like John was talking about, or whether you have a huge commercial grow with hundreds of lights. They not only have all of your important supplies, all of your horticulture supplies, but they can answer all of your questions as well. And don't forget that they have wonderful compost tea free to all their customers. So if you know the benefits of compost tea, you know how important it is, then you know how wonderful it is to go to a place where they give it to you for freezies. That's Noto Urban Garden Supply, 1330 27th Street, NODO urbangardensupply.com. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. I'm Georgia, and we'll be right back.
Are you a medical marijuana patient or interested in finding out how to become one? Contact Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. Conveniently located on Hamden and Tamarack in the Whole Foods parking lot behind Proof of the Pudding. Mile High Wellness offers a wide variety of edibles, hashes, and some of Colorado's top strains. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern. 3525 South Tamarack, Suite 110, on the corner of Hamden and Tamarack. 720-382-8516. Mile High Wellness, where your care is our concern.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Welcome back. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. My name is Georgia, and I am in the studio with my brother from another mother, Bill Shangalis, and of course, my dear friend Jenny Kush is joining us as well.
Hi, everyone.
So, Bill, people might know you best by your Facebook name, huh?
Yes, my Facebook name is Wayward Bill.
And you have 8 gajillion, like you have so many Facebook friends who follow that person that you can't even take Facebook friends anymore, can you?
I actually have brought it down. They dumped everybody's deactivated cases on people that dumped you or just left Facebook basically. And when they did that, I ended up with 850 over the amount, and it's just recently. That was in July. Just recently, I got it down below 5,000 again.
Wow. I don't even know what that means. You do too, Jenny, but I don't know.
It means Jenny deleted over 800 people.
Wow.
Yep.
So
Jenny
she could
probably
add
had
new
to do that
friends.
too. You're right.
And then she started another account.
Of course. Bill, I like to have you on periodically for a whole bunch of reasons, but this particular time, and welcome to the new studio, by the way. I didn't realize.
It's great here.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad you like. I'm so used to you being here a lot. I didn't even realize you haven't been here.
Not
since
before the 4th of July, sometime in June.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome. Tell us a little bit about you and who you are and what you do in the cannabis community.
I've been an activist, political all my life. I started out as a young Democrat. I joined the Democratic Party when I was 12 years old. When I was 15, 16 years old, I garnered enough petition signatures for the 18-year-old vote that I got recognized when I was 17 and sent to Chicago in 1968 to see firsthand the Daley police riot. And
wow.
But I also got to see John Sinclair speak, and he spoke about marijuana and socialism, and basically I've been there ever since. Over the years I've been married, but I've been active politically all my life. I really didn't direct all my energy towards cannabis until I had an epiphany back in, I believe it was in July 2008, and I was doing environment. I was paralegaling for the ACLU and doing stuff in human rights, civil rights, everything. And in this dream, I had to choose. Am I coming in okay? Mm-hmm. Okay. I had to choose something that I thought that I could accomplish in my lifetime, and out of all those, I'll never end wars. I'll never feed the planet, But I figured out that I could probably help marijuana become legal, and that's where I've been ever since.
Wow, that's fantastic. So your activism has taken you to DC. Taken you across the country numerous times.
Yes.
But most recently took you to D.C. And tell us a little bit about this trip.
This trip, I went, first it started with I got invited by Candace Junkin to speak at the Moms for Marijuana Cannabis Quilt Regional Conference. It's
Yay.
a mouthful, huh?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I realized that, hey, wait a second. There's something going on the next day very important to the cannabis world, at least to the medical cannabis world, and that was that the Americans for Safe Access filed a lawsuit against the DEA for basically stonewalling them back in 2002. It was turned down, and they put it up for appellate review. It took 10 years to get it to October 16th, 2012. And now the first day at the Cannabis Quilt, I spoke, and one of the things that we're working on, and as a group, the Moms for Marijuana, Overgrow the Government, me as the United States Marijuana Party, and I forgot that part
Yeah,
of my bio.
yeah.
I am chairman of the United States Marijuana Party. I joined them in 2008. Within 4 years, I now am chairman of the United States Marijuana Party.
Welcome, Mr. Chairman.
And I did it because I work by example. That I am always on the front line. I am told that I am a statesman. I was recently told that I'm one of the few people that can cross the line in all the industry. That that I have no we may disagree, but I still love you, and that I can work with people even though we disagree. Even though on Amendment 64 it's a little dicey.
Before we start talking about that, tell us. So you get to DC and Americans for Safe Access are having
having their hearing there.
Their hearing.
Basically, we didn't get stuck in traffic this time, thank goodness. On the day before, we got stuck in traffic for an hour and a half. It took us three exits, a mile and a half, an hour and a half. But anyway, we got there, and it looked like nobody was there, and a woman by the name of Beth, who runs a testing plant down in San Diego, showed up and asked questions too, and we all took pictures. But we went in. It was basically in the hallway, lined up. There were only 83 seats in the courtroom. But it was the who's who of marijuana activism. You had Elvie there. You had Cheryl Schumann. Okay, who else? You had me there. You had Jeff Kabik, who I have known since I was 18, as we were Young White Panthers. Who else? You had Mike Kravitz, who is the plaintiff for what is, and I'll explain that later. What they call standing in this court procedure that they're working on getting struck down. Just a lot of people, names I can't remember, but I see their faces everywhere. Oh, Steph Scherer. I mean, why not? She's head of ASA.
Right.
Oops, sorry,
Right.
Steph. But and her whole cadre. I believe that Normal was represented by Sabrina, although I don't remember taking a picture. That was the day before. But it was, everybody was there. More people than they were at the Cannabis Quilt Conference. That we had a good 80 people as opposed to 40 people the day before, and it was exhilarating. I mean, it's the first time in all my years of doing any cannabis activism, other than bailing people out or having them win their cases, that I walked away from something where I felt that as a group we accomplished something.
Nice.
And that we made a good representative show of face in the courtroom. They had to open up an additional 200 seats. I'm not too sure how many people were sitting in just the audio room. But every time, if you left the room, you couldn't come back in.
Mm.
So
who testified?
What's that?
Who testified?
Okay, the lawyer's name was Joe Elford, and each side only, for the ASA, each side only got 15 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, and I can't remember her first name, but the prosecutor's side, and she was with the DEA as an attorney, and her last name was Watson. She was a black woman.
And what does the testimony sound like that Americans for Safe
I
Access?
I have some notes here that I took actually during the trial. Basically, everything that went on. First of all, it was case number 11-2265. They went on an affirmative defense. They keeping it positive, and they basically working on the Controlled Substance Act. Basically, they are working to get new evidence put into the case. Because it was filed in 2002, the evidence only goes to 2002. And so you have to get the court to agree to accept more evidence. The other thing is the reason they were getting denied, and this is the standing thing, is that they were filing as an organization, and when you file this type of case, somebody has to be damaged, and organizations aren't damaged, health-wise, etc. It's like a civil case, but not between organizations. There has to be a human being involved. And so they picked a man by the name of Mike Kravitz, not a Vietnam, but a veteran who was in the Air Force, who was denied his VA medical benefits because he used cannabis. And so they, and a strong case. I'm not sure what his debilitations are, but he's a good guy. I spoke with him. I told him about how I used to take all these pills from VA, psychotropics. I used to take lithium. I used to take Paxil. I used to take 720 Vicodins a month for my crippled hand. I told him, well, I couldn't get VA to agree what I was doing, and they haven't stopped my benefits. But what I did was I basically told my mental health worker that I'm not going to take these drugs anymore, and if I'm sick, I'll come in.
Excellent.
And so I do it as I need it. I go in for my yearly physical.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about you, and we'll delve into 64, and we'll bring Jenny in as well. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. It is the extension of your weekend, Monday night. Don't let Mondays be bad. You've got to listen to iCannabis Radio. And when you're listening to iCannabis Radio, it makes you think, oh my gosh, next time I go to the mountains, I'm going to go visit my friends at mmrockies.com, the medical marijuana of the Rockies. Aaron and Jerry are waiting for you guys to go up and check them out. They're your mountain source for meds and have some of the best clones or immature plants in the state. Don't forget to check out their website, mmrockies.com, for their ever-changing plant selection, as well as the strains that are available and the clones that are available. They're located off of exit 203 off of I-70 in Frisco, Colorado. Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, mmrockies.com. Don't forget to tell them that you heard about them on iCannabis Radio. I'm Georgia, and we'll be right back.
The law offices of Edson, Maton, and Matz provide criminal defense, medical marijuana defense, and advice about setting up and running medical marijuana centers, optional premises cultivation operations, and infused product manufacturing businesses throughout Colorado. With offices in Denver and Aspen, we can offer assistance throughout the entire state of Colorado. Give us a call at 303-831-8188. That's 303-831-8188. Or visit us online at warrenedson.com.
You're listening to Georgia Edson on iCannabisRadio.com.
Welcome back. I'm Georgia. You're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I just put my flowers in the middle of the camera shots. Sorry, but they're really pretty. They're certainly prettier than me. We should just show the flowers instead of me. Yeah, there's a tulip in the way. There we go. My friend Niles, who always stops by and cooks for me on Monday nights, brought flowers and food and, just himself. Say hi, Niles.
Hi, I brought her salad. It's like freaking amazing.
Oh my gosh. See, I would starve to death. Check this out. Thank you so, oh my gosh.
Cool beans.
It's got pimento and cheese. It's got a bull
Is that goat cheese?
Spinach and artichoke.
It looks like, is it feta?
That's spinach and artichoke dip. That's feta.
It's
Ooh,
beautiful.
yeah.
It's beautiful.
Styling.
They can't see it. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. So thank you. I just get so pampered. Back to you, Bill. Back to you. I can't see you through the iris. So what happens next now that we've had the hearing? What's the next step in the legal process?
Well, first of all, they've agreed to review it. I mean, that's a step forward. And then the other thing is that it's judicial process, and they say that it's several months down the line. I actually talked to Joe Elford, and he told me that basically he figures August or September.
Okay.
There's something that came out today, though, and I need to pull it up. It's called the Kraken thing, and a DEA judge opened up cannabis to research. I need to pull it up here as we're talking. Ask me some questions.
Is that another way of saying waste time while I'm doing my research?
Right.
Exactly. So, the idea is...
Well, I just found it like before I got here.
The idea is that Americans for Safe Access are saying that the current scheduling of cannabis is harmful and it needs to be rescheduled or descheduled. Rescheduled to show that, because currently it shows that it's scheduled in such a way that indicates that marijuana has no medical value, no medicinal value at all. And by rescheduling it, it would mean that marijuana would be proven to have medical uses and thus be able to be prescribed, not recommended like it is currently, prescribed by a physician. So the concern that this case brings up with this particular patient is, or individual who uses cannabis, is that he no longer gets his VA benefits or was refused his VA benefits because of his cannabis use. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's the damages that they're showing.
That's right. He has a myriad of illnesses that require VA treatment, and he is a veteran. He's a veteran. I'm not sure in which theater of war, but enough that he should be getting 100%, and he's getting zip.
Okay.
And I just found that.
Okay.
And this is today, the 22nd of 12, and this is big news, and I'll read it off of here. As soon as we get it up here on the little phone. Phones are so great these days.
I know. Sometimes technology is great and sometimes it's not.
Okay. Let me make it a little bigger. There we go. And this is at the Americans for Safe Access. DEA administrative law judge rules that cannabis research is in the public interest. And this is today. U.S. Department of Justice appointed administrative law judge Mary Ellen Bittner issued an 87-page ruling today in favor of removing the government obstruction to medical cannabis research in the United States.
Wow.
University of Massachusetts Amherst professor Lyle Krager, and that's why it's called the Krager ruling, I guess, has led a 6-year struggle to gain a DEA license to grow research-grade cannabis so that studies can be conducted to determine the full extent of marijuana's medical value. Judge Rittner's ruling, which concluded that the respondent's registration to cultivate marijuana would be in the public interest.
Wow.
Came on the same day as a study released in the Neurology on the positive effects of cannabis on people on cannabis. Okay, effects of cannabis on neuropathic pain for people with AIDS and HIV, and that's the blurb right there.
Wow, that's exciting. That's really exciting.
That is big.
That's big.
It's the biggest thing that's come across the board in forever since 1937.
Right.
They're not going to allow it to be researched medically. There it is.
I know. There's lots of volunteers right now.
Rick Simpson becomes true.
Yes.
That all the stuff that they've been dispelling becomes true.
So we're going to shift gears a little bit. So nationally, that's really exciting, and there's a lot of exciting things going on nationally, and we've been focusing on Oregon, Washington, and Colorado's measures to legalize on some level recreational use. And for a while, my friend Bill, you were not in favor of Colorado's Amendment 64. You were, there was a possibility at one point of upwards of 4 or 5 measures being on the ballot here in Colorado.
Correct.
And we had everyone, all the different voices were interviewed on the show at different times, and because of the difficulty in getting the signatures that are needed and those kinds of things and the money that it takes to do that, to get something on the ballot, Amendment 64 marijuana, like alcohol, was the only one of those measures that ultimately made the ballot. And over time, you adjusted your opinion and have been most recently very, very active in Pro 64 and helping people learn about the amendment and getting out the vote for 64. So what changed for you?
What changed for me, excuse me, was first of all, I had me and Michelle LeMay had our own law, the Relief for Possession of Cannabis Act of 2012. We didn't get enough signatures, and then there was I-70, and I can't remember their title. They didn't get enough signatures. I don't get bitter about that. We just didn't get enough signatures. I was a little bitter about the money being spent on A64. It was I-40 at the time.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, what changed my mind was I just started to think about one thing. I've worked for this all my life.
Yeah.
So that was the personal part. But then I had to look at who I am as the chairman of the United States Marijuana Party. And I looked real close at, the mission statement and everything else that the party stands for. And we have to stand for marijuana law reform. And one of the things I kept hearing about A64, well, it's not legalization. Well, guess what? It is marijuana law reform. And even though flawed, and my law and Michelle's law and Enrico's law, I mean, all law has flaws, and it's the infighting. The infighting is what really pushed me over. It was just that, let's get over this, guys. And we have a once in a lifetime in this state opportunity to crack the cannabis conundrum ceiling.
Yeah.
And let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's let them figure it out in the courts afterwards, because it's going to be litigated to the gates of hell and back. That the feds are going to go after it. That the state's going to go after it. Municipalities are going to go after it,
right.
And then it's going to be in reverse. I mean, they think Mason and them spent a lot of money getting this on the books and the advertising and all that. The litigation is yet to come.
That's right.
And lawyers aren't cheap.
No, that's true.
No,
That's
we're
true. So next week we are going to have the Amendment 64 people come in and we're going to pose some really tough questions, because they've had they've had a lot of criticism, and some of it warranted and some of it not. And so we're gonna have the next week's show is dedicated to talking about Colorado's Amendment 64. So I welcome any and all questions and all sides to be able to participate in that discussion. So thank you, my friend Bill, for being here. As always, I love it. Stick around, because I definitely want you to participate.
I'd like to say one more thing.
Of course.
Vote yes on A64, because we have a chance to make the status quo reply.
Yeah.
I mean, think of it that way. That we have a chance here to push the button, to open the door for the reaction, and nobody's done that before.
That's right.
I mean, get over the fighting and the bickering, and let's do it.
We're going to take a really quick break, and we're going to come back with my girl, Jenny Kush. You're listening to iCannabis Radio. I'm Georgia, and we'll be back in a flash.
Let's face it, rules and regulations are complicated, especially in the field of medical marijuana. Let Medical Marijuana 101 help you get through the compliance process. We can also explain to you your employment requirements, your employees, and your business. But our work doesn't stop there. Our experience in cultivation ranges from the design of grow rooms to the diagnosis and resolution of grow problems. Visit us at www.medicalmarijuana101.com or call 303-388-7706. That's 303-388-7706. Are you a runner? Are you a runner who supports marijuana legalization? Run on Grass is a group of athletes actively seeking to change our marijuana laws. We speak the truth about cannabis, bringing the message through our feet to new ears. Check out runongrass.com to find out more about us, our events, and how to join up or how to sponsor a runner. If you're in the Denver area, please join us for runs or start a group in your area. Running not your thing? Any sport can do it. On grass. Runongrass.com.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for listening to iCannabis Radio. You know, if you're looking at the camera right now and you're thinking, this is weird, it's not Tuesday night. It's not Tuesday night, but Jenny Kush from Sexpot Radio, which is 7 to 9 every Tuesday night, is here with us. Welcome, Jenny.
7 to 9 or 9:30 or
whenever you get
whenever
done.
we get done. Yeah, we do start at. What time do we start? We start at 8, don't we?
8?
We're 8 to 10.
8 to 10.
What are we?
My cheat sheet.
I don't even know.
There it is. That's right, because before that is 6:30 to 8 is American Weed, Realm Radio, and then you're 8 to 10.
Yes,
Why
I'm
did-
8 to 10.
Yes.
I used to be 7 to 8, and then that lasted about a week.
Yeah, and you realized you
And
had
then-
so much content. Because what do you talk about?
We talk about a little bit of everything.
A little bit of sex, a little bit of pot?
And other things.
Sexpot Radio?
Yeah, it just kind of ends up being a conglomeration of whatever happens to be going on.
So what gave you the idea of doing the Sexpot Radio show?
You know what? It's funny that you should ask that.
Is it funny?
Because I believe that your husband mentioned that maybe there should be a sex show.
Really, that's so not like him, actually.
And so I'm not quite sure how it ended up, but I believe Scott Green brought it to me.
Well, that would make sense.
When he was there.
That would make sense.
He said,
happy birthday,
yes,
Scott
happy
Green,
birthday.
yesterday.
I thought he was mad at me. I've been trying to get a hold of him for a couple of weeks.
Really?
But he hasn't been checking his Facebook and his phone is broke.
Yeah.
I wanted to go have coffee with him last week and I couldn't find him.
Oh,
I was like,
yes. I have a link.
I thought I made him angry.
No, I have a special link. So if you ever need a special link, I can get to him. It's like the bat signal.
Right.
You know, I put out the signal and Scott Green comes.
I messaged you for his phone number and I tried calling and texting. I'm like, where'd he go? So I messaged him. I was like, are you mad at me?
Oh, he's not mad.
He's not. He finally answered me like a week later.
But back to you.
Yes.
Back to you.
So anyway.
So how did you start being a marijuana activist?
You know, it was something that I started back home in North Dakota. It was just, I've smoked since I was a youngish child.
Youngish child.
14-ish. And, I don't know, everything was so, zero tolerance in North Dakota. Like, you couldn't tell your friends that you were using it. Like, your coworkers couldn't know. And so, I kind of ended up Wayward Bill here. I had talked to him on Facebook and stuff when I was still living back in North Dakota, and it just kind of became something that I fell into.
Cannabis habitation, Colorado.
Yes.
Move here.
Very much so.
So, I mean, you are a whole lot of things. You are an artist.
Mm-hmm.
You are a mommy.
I am.
You are. What are some other things that define you, Jenny?
I am a whole lot of everything.
You are a whole lot of everything.
I don't know. I've always been kind of one of those people where if I wanted something done, instead of paying someone to do it for me, I did it myself.
Yeah.
And I found a way to do it. I bake. I paint.
I know we're about to make
tattoos.
We're gonna
make awesome cupcakes.
We're gonna make cupcakes pretty soon.
Those eyeballs that I sent you. I saw those. I was like, oh my gosh.
Want those? Yes.
So yeah, I've just kind of always been one of those people. If I wanted something done, I went out and did it myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
So what are some of the topics? How you decide the topics on your show?
On our show, a lot of times it's based on what my listeners email me about, asking questions about. I do a lot of research through like fetish groups and stuff.
Yummy.
Around Colorado. I've found actually a lot of different groups here in Colorado
I don't know why
since I started doing this.
The idea of a fetish group in Colorado surprises me. I think of Colorado as being so conservative, but maybe sexually we're not.
You are not.
Good to know.
It's crazy. There's a lot of underground different groups. as far as swingers groups, a lot of bathhouses.
What about furries? I read about furries.
Furries?
Furries, I saw some like NCIS show or something about it. Furry people who dress up like
Animals?
Yes, like stuffed animals. Like
yeah.
She says yeah.
Yes, some people do dress up like stuffed animals.
Do you ever ask why?
You know, I figure to each their own. Like, I try to kind of check it out a little bit and, like, kind of see maybe it's something I might like, you know? You never know.
Do mascots, is that it?
Mascots.
I mean, that's what it feels like to me. Mascots are a big turn on, right?
I had to get into a mascot costume once when I was in high school, and it stunk so bad I would never want to dress up.
It doesn't
kind of sweaty gym socks. I don't know.
But like you said, to each his
to each their own.
Yes,
yeah, for
exactly.
sure.
So what do you have coming up on your show?
Tomorrow, actually, there's a large group of girls and I are going to go costume shopping. And so
for Halloween or just fun costume?
Both.
Okay. I love it.
I was asked today at a store, what are you going to be for Halloween? I was like, I've already dressed up in 20 costumes this month. You pick.
I am a Halloween costume.
Exactly. So yeah, we're going to go out and do a little costume shopping. Some of the girls have mentioned to me different odd costumes that they wanted to use.
Like what?
Well, one girl wants to be Hello Kitty Darth Vader. And so I told her
Vader.
Hello, Vader. So I told her this could be done. Vader
I love
Kitty.
It. Yeah.
So I want to be a pirate peacock.
Okay.
So we're gonna make this.
That.
We're gonna make this work. So we're gonna go craft stores, art,
nice.
All the different costume shops, and not your typical costume shops. People think that really all they have to choose from are the regular Halloween costume shops. Denver and Boulder and stuff have so many different costume theatrical shops,
vintage stores
to choose from.
Yep.
I seriously, like, I've gone to thrift stores and dropped $40 and gone home with like 3 big bags of costume stuff.
Wow,
it's amazing the different places you can go find stuff,
and that's good for kids too.
Oh,
all
yeah,
that stuff for kids
sure,
costumes
for
too.
sure. People think that costumes have to be expensive. They don't. I actually sent my mom a pattern to make my son a costume. It's a rocket pack, and all it is like a piece of cardboard, some ribbon to like wrap it around his arms, and then you take red felt and 2-liter pop bottles, paint the pop bottles silver, use the red felt for flames out of the rockets. Got a rocket pack.
That's awesome.
Totally awesome, cool stuff. So, and I do
That's
a lot
fun.
of research into costumes and stuff online all year round. So I have a closet dedicated to costumes.
Of course you do.
So,
of course you do. That's tomorrow night's show. Now you guys
Yes.
also have Sexpot Radio has a really active Facebook page as well.
We do.
What kind of things get posted in yours?
A lot of things. Sometimes I'm afraid that I might get banned from Facebook. Like, oh, this is crossing the line today. But it just ends up being like different random things that a lot of my listeners are really good about posting in there if I haven't for a while, and just encouraging people to open up and talk about sexuality and be more open about these things. You don't have to be so prudish, you know. There's a lot of things that a lot of people didn't know, you know.
Sure.
So,
well, to me, it reminds me so much of why we're cannabis activists. I mean, the idea of people having to be quiet about their activity and people having to deny what they do, that doesn't hurt anybody and makes them feel good and is very, very natural. I mean, we fight for that for cannabis every day. We should fight for that for people's sexual desires as well.
For sure.
So.
Yeah, it's just nice to see so many people opening up, because I have a lot of people that were always super quiet and shy when they would talk to me, and they've really opened up and just kind of found themselves. So,
our friend Angel
Angel is definitely one of those girls.
Angel just said, my dear, she just said, sex pot saved my life. You know what, Angel, you saved sex pot's life. Let's just be honest with that. That's awesome.
Angel is one of those girls where she has just totally blossomed since she's been listening to me.
And you post, Angel, you post a lot in sex pot. I see you posting a lot in sex pot. That's awesome.
She does.
That's wonderful. Tuesday nights from 8 to 10, right after American Weed Realm Radio. Very
Absolutely.
exciting. Very exciting. I'm thrilled. We have a couple minutes left in the show, and we have 5 minutes left, 6 minutes left, according to my producer. So what is this thing that I understand that happens on your show where people get tied up?
Bondage.
Has that ever really happened? Is that true?
Shibari. Yes.
Yes? Tell me.
I tied up K-Sass on the show.
K-Sass. K-Sass is our hero, our glass blower hero.
Yes. She came into the show, and I told her that I was going to be doing some bondage on the show, and that girl's face just lit up, and she's like, will you tie me up? She's like, I've never been tied up. Please do it.
Now, one of the reasons why you did it is because you really wanted to show the very safe
ways to do it, because there are safe ways to do it, and there are not safe ways to do it. Some people, I've heard of people using saran wrap to tie each other up. Don't use saran wrap.
That doesn't sound
It
pleasant.
will cut into you. Like, I've taught people the right type of rope to use, because you can't just use regular bristly nylon rope.
Do you hear that? Oh my gosh!
Keep scissors handy.
Chris is extremely embarrassed. You are turning. So you say you know it, but you're turning bright red. You know it, but you know it because you produced the show, not because you know it.
He is stuck in this room with me every week. He is totally awesome. I love it.
So K-Sass is one of the people that you have tied up. Have you been tied up on your show?
I have not been tied up on my show.
Why not?
I don't, because I'm the one that knows all the knots.
Well, apparently now Chris does. So that's what I'm looking forward to on
I did tie myself up on the show.
How do you do that?
Actually, I was practicing.
Is that masturbating?
Yeah, masturbating with rope, rope-turbation.
Something like that.
We've been making up so many of our own words, like vipositories. Lovely. It's when your girl hasn't quite got there, you need to use your finger, give her a vipository.
You gotta start writing this stuff down.
When you tie yourself up, you have like the emergency button, like for old folks. Help! I've fallen and I can't get up. You hit this button. I've tied myself up and I can't get loose.
I wasn't so sure about how to do a particular knot, so I sat in the studio for a couple of hours before a show one time when we had our old producer, and I instead of doing it on my arms like I did on K-Sass that night, I sat and did it on my legs over and over again, and actually that video ended up on YouTube and got about 2,000 hits. It's like a 3-minute video of me tying myself up from here to here.
Of course. Only Jenny Kush.
So, yeah. It's fun. You gotta practice somehow, the show gets random. We try to stick to a topic, and it never really stays on that one topic, but I think we had about a 30-minute discussion last week about blue balls, and that's where the repository came in. Repository.
So remember, if you want to listen to the 30-minute discussion about blue balls, you can go back onto the website to recorded shows and hit Sex Pop Radio.
Yeah, we explained that. We explained how girls often get something similar if they have not been completely satisfied. So, clear that up for men out there so they can kind of understand that we still got the same issues you got. Ours are just on the inside.
There you go. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much, my dear. As always, it's wonderful to have you here. And we got some stuff coming up this week. 2 minutes till my show's over. Why does it go so fast?
Because you only do an hour.
I know. An hour goes fast. An hour goes fast. So 6:30 to 8, American Weed Realm Radio with the Stanley Brothers. 8 to 10, Sexpot Radio tomorrow night. Wednesdays, just so you know, IDAB Radio is going monthly. They're going to start a monthly show.
I think they may be coming in this week, though. They were talking about doing a costume contest on their show.
That sounds like fun.
So tune in to Sexpot Radio to find out about the costumes, and then come join them for the costume contest.
I've got the hottest costume.
Ooh, what you got?
It's hot for someone my age.
I want to know.
I'm a skeleton.
Ooh. I found a zombie unicorn pair of pajamas yesterday. They're awesome.
They're everywhere. Everyone has zombie unicorn pajamas. They're Thursday, don't forget that the Hemp Connoisseur has their show from 4 to 5, their video magazine. It's been fantastic. You guys have got to listen to that. It's kind of our drive time show. And then, of course, Overgrow the Radio with Stickman, and now Holly G.
Yes.
Yay.
All right, Holly G.
Yeah, we want to welcome Holly G as the newest host on Thursday nights with Stickman on Overgrow the Radio. We think Holly is fantastic. Holly G, you are... she has just tons of experience and has been around forever, despite the fact that she's only a minute and a half old, and she's just knowledgeable and everyone knows her, and she is just fantastic. So she's a great addition to the iCannabis Radio family. And then, of course, next week on Monday, I'm going to have the folks from Amendment 64, and we're going to talk about the election. Thanks to our sponsors this week, Mile High Wellness, Noto Urban Garden Supply, Edson Maton and Mats, Medical Marijuana of the Rockies, Medical Marijuana 101, Run on Grass. My name's Georgia. Thank you so much. Thank you, my dear. Thank you guys for being on the show, and we'll see you next week. Bye.